Generally helps when you put the stuff you need on a stand. This is how you know it's getting to the end of June, is that I'm like, my loud voice is disappearing and I'm actually using a microphone. So this is how you know the state we're in. Before we go any further, Medicinet Public School Division and Crescent Heights High School would like to acknowledge that the land we are on today is on the traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy. The people of this Treaty 7 region signed a Blackfoot Crossing in 1877 consist of 3 First Nations, the Kainai, the Piikani, and the Siksika. Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta also includes the Tsuut'ina and Stoney Nakoda First Nations. We would like to acknowledge and honor that we are also on the homeland of the Métis people. We would also like to acknowledge the traditional knowledge holders and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. Well, good evening. Welcome to Crescent Heights High School. My name is Curtis Parent. I have the good fortune to be the band director here, and in front of you is our senior high band. This group has been very busy this year. We're going to talk about some of that stuff as we go along, but thankfully for all of you, and thankfully for my voice, I'm not going to be doing most of the talking. Again, the students are going to be introducing all the pieces with a few little things from me. Before they introduce the first piece, though, I just want to mention that this piece was chosen specifically to pay tribute to its composer. Robert W. Smith was a very prolific composer of band music, and especially a composer of music for young bands and high school bands. And he passed away last fall. And so all of the bands this year have paid tribute to Mr. Smith through his music. If you were with us last night, you heard the Grade 8 band playing one of his classics, Serengeti Dreams. And so this piece was chosen specifically to pay tribute to the memory of Robert W. Smith, somebody who had a very big impact on band music in general. So without a whole lot more talking from me, let's get on with things and hear the people you came here to hear. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Robbie Milner and I play Barry sax.
And despite what you may hear later tonight, I am the coolest Caitlin because I play oboe.
All right, why did the train start a band?
I don't know why.
They wanted to make tracks.
You see, that's the problem with train jokes. They tend to get off the rails.
Okay, so this first piece tells a very unique and exhilarating story of a train, or as I like to call it, a choo-choo, down in the southern parts of America back in the 1860s during the Civil War.
This particular train in Georgia, yeehaw, was the setting for 20 Union spies disguised as civilians to cause quite the scene.
This piece of music aims to describe these soldiers' daring attempt to use the brake of the train to uncouple the engine and separate 3 boxcars from the passenger cars.
With the goal of damaging as many rails and tracks as possible, these spies sped off with the train, beginning the chase of the century.
Understandably so, the train conductor leapt into action with 2 of his trusty employees, and they ran on foot for several miles after their beloved train.
Despite this inefficient method of travel, the Union spies were ultimately caught, and these events would later be known as some of the boldest adventures of the war.
To summarize, the composer of this upcoming piece, Robert W. Smith, decided it would be really cool if this piece of history was translated into a concert band composition. Or at least I think it'd be really cool. This intense pursuit was very accelerated, not unlike Mr. Parent's hairline. And I'm sure we'll all have fun in this adventure together.
This is The Great Locomotive Chase by Robert W. Smith. Hopefully this doesn't train wreck.
Okay. Hi, my name's Georgia. I'm a 12th grade student here at CHHS, and in this band, I make the rounds on flute, piccolo, chimes, bell, and xylos you just saw back there.
And my name is Aiden. I'm a grade 10 student, and hi, I'm the best tuba player around here.
The piece we are playing tonight is titled Forevermore and is composed by Christina M. Huss, an American composer who taught many middle and high school bands before retiring back in 2016.
She wrote this piece at the beginning of COVID as a programmatic piece depicting a time where the world's band students would be able to return and play forevermore.
That means forever. Band forever.
The opening alto sax melody symbolizes a child, with each additional melody representing more and more children.
Yay, children! Don't you love us, Perrin? Okay, anyhow, even if Perrin doesn't love us, we love him. He's our favorite band teacher, regardless of our being our only band teacher. We would be lost without him. He told us that we are the busiest band that this has been since COVID, and it's all his doing that we're here. So we thank you, Perrin, for making this band class extra special in so many ways. Your dedication shines through all of us. And for you guys, we hope you enjoy this calm and melodious piece.
Hey guys, how are you doing tonight? Lively crowd tonight, yeah.
Our next piece is called Simple Gifts by Frank Kelly.
Simple Gifts is a 4-part piece that is based off of hymns from the Shaker religion.
These hymns include In Yonder Valley, Dance, Here Take This Lovely Flower, and Simple Gifts.
I like this piece as it reminds me of all the things that are simply a gift in life.
Like friendship
And flowers.
and spring.
And most of all, Mr. Perrin's big, shiny, bald head.
We hope you enjoy Simple Gifts.
So what we left out of the introduction is something I said to them back when we picked that piece. I've been trying to get a band that's been willing to buy into that piece for about 6 years. And I go and I put it in front and say, hey, what do you guys think of this? It's like, And so finally, I got a group that bought into how cool that piece is. Even though it's not big and showy and flashy, it's just good. So I'm glad I finally got to do that with a band. So that's a credit to your students that they have good taste. So now we get to the point in the evening where it's always, it doesn't matter. There's not a Stanley Cup Finals game today. Thank the Lord for that. But this is the next most exciting thing on Bet360 or whatever those terrible ads you watch all the time is Perrin going to make it through talking about the grads without breaking into tears? Well, your bet starts now. I say it often, the most bittersweet thing about being an educator, and anyone who's been involved in this profession knows this, is that you work with these amazing young people day in, day out for years and years and years, and then they leave. And ultimately, that's what we want them to do. We want them to leave. We want them to go forward. We want them to be awesome. But then we also just want them to stay forever so that we can just keep benefiting from all of their years of experience. This year's grad class is a smaller group. There's only 8 grade 12s this year. And in a lot of ways, I've been talking in the last few years about grad classes being impacted by COVID. And in a lot of ways, this year's grad class probably had it the worst. And the reason why, those of you, if you remember way back to your students' grade 8 band concerts, you remember like very clear differences in the progress that they make from December to June. And a lot of learning happens in grade 8. Well, take a wild guess what grade these fine folks were in when we all got shut down and they said, middle school options don't matter. So this group came in grade 9, basically at a grade 8 level, and then got disrupted by a couple of pushbacks to online learning. We were still dealing with COVID protocols, and they only got one performance throughout that year. And yet, that one performance was our cafeteria concert with the senior high band, where we didn't have an audience, we didn't have anybody live in the house. It was just them and an empty space and a camera. And yet, this group stuck with it. And then the following year, even though we weren't sure what COVID would look like, they stuck with it. The following year, even though, we didn't have a band trip, they stuck with it. And we finally got to travel last year. And so ultimately what I know about these 8 is that they either really, really care about this group and this music and making music together, or they fake it really well. And either way, I'm happy. But this group of graduates is a group that could have very easily 4 years ago just said, it's not worth it. I'm kind of done with this. And off they went and did something else. And they didn't. And for that, I'm always going to be incredibly grateful for them. Darn it. See, there you go. Who's got the timer? What was the over-under? I am incredibly grateful to the 8 of you for sticking through it. I'm incredibly grateful to the 8 of you for being people that when all of a sudden something came up, it's, oh, look, we need something covered. We need this, so we need this. Yeah, I can count on one of the 8 of you. I've been able to count on the 8 of you to be the leaders in your sections, to be the people that I can count on to get the job done. And I am incredibly proud of all of you for all the work that you've done over your time here. You are a group of people that no matter where you go, and I say this every year, I sincerely hope that this is not the last time you play your instruments, because I look forward to you walking into a community band somewhere, wherever you wind up. And when someone asks you where you went to school, you can say here and I'll back you up, and I'll be glad that you said you came out of this program. So to the 8 graduates from Crescent Heights High School, can you please stand, please? These are our band grads for 2024.
Hi, I'm Georgia. And I'm the cooler Caitlin, and this is my last concert, so I'm gonna be the cooler Caitlin forever and ever. Ha 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 ha.
We are introducing the best piece ever. The grads this year originally played this song in grade 10, and it was so good we had to play it again.
This song is called Whale Warriors, composed by Brian Ball Mages, and it is about people who hunt whales.
In 1986, the International Whaling Commission called for a ban on commercial whaling, but lots of countries continued to hunt whales anyway, including endangered species.
In response to this, a guy named Paul Watson created an organization to take down the evil whalers. They did this by throwing stink bombs, jamming their engine, ramming into their ships.
This song tells the story of a day on Paul's ship out on the hunt. This piece starts out describing a calm, quiet morning at the port. Then the music speeds up as the ship sets out to pursuit of the whale fleets. The music gets more exciting and intense when they find the ship and start the chase.
During the chase, the crew finds the body of a dead whale floating in the water. The music shows their shock and anger and eventually settles down in remembrance of the whale. The final section of the song builds up back to the energy at the beginning because the crew is ready to hunt down the next boat.
This is Whale Warriors.
Before we perform our last piece, we have a few thank yous that I need to put out. First and always, I have to thank the staff and admin of Crescent Heights High School for their support of the performing arts in our schools. We just had a visit this afternoon from a music group from Regina, Saskatchewan, and was talking with their directors. And all of their music programming, although the students take it for credit, has to be done either before school, after school, or at lunch. Their concert band meets at lunch on Tuesday, Thursdays. Their choir is on Monday, Wednesdays. Their jazz band is before school. Their jazz choir is after school. So the fact that we have the opportunity to have these programs in the timetable and to make it easy for students to participate in is something that I am forever grateful for. So a big thank you goes out to them. A big thank you goes out to Jennifer Davies, who is my partner in the performing arts here at Crescent Heights. She maintains this fantastic space that we get to use every time we come and perform, and it's just absolutely wonderful to get to use. Thank you to all of you for coming and supporting these fine young people. I'm gonna say it a lot over the next few years. We've done the empty concerts and the COVID concerts, and playing to an empty house sucks. So thank you for coming and supporting these young people. Thank you to the students, because they were right about one thing. It was a busy year and it's entirely my fault. And yet they rolled with the punches. As I said, by the time we finish grad next week, that will have been 10 performances this year, between grade school shows and public performances and grad ceremonies. And yeah, that's all my fault, because I just keep booking things, but they keep showing up and playing wonderfully. So, I mean, why wouldn't I want to have as many people as possible hear these folks? Like, come on. So thank you for coming and playing and making my life awesome. And before I turn it over to introduce the final piece, I just want to say a thank you to somebody who is almost single-handedly responsible for setting up the band program for the success that it is. Bill Wall was the band teacher here for 33 years and had his battle with dementia, and very suddenly and unexpectedly passed away in January. And we gathered together to share a memorial for him in March, but when standing here in this space that is named for him, and with this program that he helped build, I would be remiss if I didn't thank Bill for all the work that he did shaping this program and turning it into the amazing thing that it is. When I applied for this job 10 years ago, which that feels weird to say that it's been 10 years. But when I applied for this job, Mark Ward was my predecessor here. He'd been here for 9 years. And when I was telling friends in Lethbridge, oh, I'm applying for the job at Crescent Heights, they all said, oh, that's Bill Wall's school. I said, I didn't know anything. I said, well, no, I think it's some guy named Mark Ward. And said, well, Mark's there now, but that's Bill's school. So I felt like I was handed the keys to a Mercedes and all I had to do was not crash it. So for that and for everything that comes, I'm standing on the shoulders of a giant. So thank you, Bill. Hopefully we'll keep not crashing the car you built. So with that in mind, we've got one more for you. Thank you very much for coming. We hope you enjoy your evening.
Good evening. I'm Kima,
And I'm Marin.
and we are a part of the euphonium section.
And because we get this question a lot, a euphonium is just basically a smaller tuba.
Tonight has been a long night, so we'll try and make this quick. This piece is our last piece number for the night, but we'd like to think of it as the best for last.
The music of this piece was composed by John Powell for a well-known animated movie released in 2010. This medley that we are playing tonight, which was arranged by Sean O'Loughlin, portrays the best moments of this magical and adventurous film, filled with Vikings, humor, and best of all, dragons.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to present How to Train Your Dragon.
Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Have a wonderful summer break. We'll see you soon. Have a good night.
Good for a girl. Thanks, Mo.
Take care.
Trying to figure out what my age is.